Hey guys, it's me, Seren, back with another video. I actually had another video planned for today that I guess I'll probably put up next week. The video, I knew that if I posted that video, because y'all be like so up on current events and stuff, I knew that if I posted that video, y'all were going to be in the comment section like, Seren, what do you think about Brussels? What do you think about Brussels? What do you think about Brussels? So I was like, I might as well just make a quick video on what I think about the whole Brussels situation. Um, Basically, for anyone that doesn't know, even though I'm sure probably everyone knows, there was a series of attacks done in Brussels, which is in Europe, by ISIS. I believe I think it was like two bombs went off at an airport and another one at a train station, and 31 people were killed, and I think like they're saying like over 100 people have been injured, which an airport and a train station is not surprising. Um, so there's been two things that I'll probably talk about in this video. Two things. One has been this outpouring of support for Brussels, solidarity with Brussels, stand with Brussels. It's kind of, the same things that we saw, stand with Paris and stuff like that. And two, the very predictable backlash against Muslims, against Islam, the whole Islamophobia. I saw some tweet there circulating where some fucking asshole white guy was like, I confronted a Muslim woman on the street and I demanded an explanation for Brussels, and she said it had nothing to do with me, mealy mouthed response or something like that. And people were like, what the fuck? What? Like, you harassing people, you confronting random women on the street, like that's harassment. So like, what I want to say is I'm like not here for any type of Islamophobia. Like, I'm not here for that shit. Like, how many? There's like millions upon millions. You know what? I'm gonna look it up. How many Muslims are in the world? Right. Thank you. There's 1.6 billion Muslims in the world, roughly 23% of the global population. So if you're just going to be walking up to random Muslims on the street and asking them about Brussels, you're going to be spending a lot of time asking random people about random ass shit. Like, and it's just so funny to see how, again, this like hate mongering and this like, I feel like we've been talking about narratives for like months now, but it's like really interesting to see how this stuff like immediately like kicks into gear, the same exact types of conversations that fucking we've seen Donald Trump's awful ass fucking spewing for the last few months, like, and build a wall to keep the Muslims out. And if you read the Quran, you would know that Islam has no place in fucking modern organized society. Well, yeah, nigga, if you read the Bible, they're talking about sacrificing kids and cutting niggas' hands off and wiping out the whole fucking population with a flood. Like, Christianity, if you fucking judge them by that, then Christianity doesn't have no place in modern day society either, like, which that's a whole nother conversation, because I know a lot of y'all would say that, like, no types of organized religion, has a place in modern society, which we can talk about at a later date if you guys want. But it's just really, really interesting to see, these people, this white guy talking about, oh, I ran up on this random Muslim chick. But when white people fucking go on these mass fucking killing sprees and kill people, when they kill 9 black people in a church, when they kill 3 Muslims at Chapel Hill, when they kill fucking 26 kids in Sandy Hook, when they fucking go on a rampage and kill people, you never hear, no one goes on TV and says, let's build a wall to keep out the fucking white people. Nobody goes on TV and says, fucking the Oregon militia held all these people hostage. No one goes on TV and says, look at the Bible, these people should not be allowed in modern day society, because it doesn't fit into this narrative. It doesn't fit into this narrative. White people operate outside of this narrative no matter what they do, and that's really all that I can think when I see this, this fear mongering and this hate mongering of Muslims and this Islamophobia, is that, like, I don't I feel more about like white people than anything else. Like there's mad Muslims in the world. Like how you gonna blame all of them? Like that shit doesn't even make no fucking sense to me. Like, but then like I said, mind you, they'll say that, but then no one says like, oh, like, well, let's take a look at white culture. Which I've spoken about white culture. I've spoken about my feelings about white culture. I've spoken about how white male privilege and white female privilege and problems we have with white culture and systemic racism and how it's cyclical and how all white people are affected by it because they're all socialized in a racist society. Not all fucking Muslims are going to be fucking radical terrorists because that's not the norm in our society. White supremacy is the norm in our society. So all white people are fucking affected by that shit. But you don't see anybody talking about that shit on the news, but they'll try to pretend that fucking all Muslims are the same though. That shit's crazy to me. It doesn't make any fucking sense. Like this whole shit is just wild. But again, we're talking about narratives. We're talking about what makes people and white people comfortable, what they are conditioned to think and believe about themselves and about other people, specifically black and brown people, So that's the one thing. The other thing that I wanted to say, I don't want to be a negative Nancy. I don't have a problem with, an outpouring of solidarity and solidarity for Brussels and stand with Brussels and whatever. That's perfectly fine. But I will say that I woke up this morning and I'm subscribed to a lot of like email lists for like protest like sites because I sign a lot of like petitions and I go to like a lot of protests and like I've participated in a bunch of like different types of like crowd funding, like crowdsourced funding, whatever. And so I get up this morning and I get an email from one of these websites that's like, oh, stand in solidarity with Brussels. Please donate. We are making a minimum $25,000 donation to the city of Brussels. And, we're trying to go past that. So we want people to donate. We're making a minimum. And I just remember reading it. And I know this is going to sound horrible. I just remember reading it thinking like, damn, like, where was this for Flint, Michigan? Like, we all fucking stood back and, like, looked at the pictures and, like, read the articles. But I didn't get no emails landing in my inbox talking about we trying to make a $25,000 minimum donation to Flint, Michigan so the people of Flint, Michigan can get some clean fucking water. Like, I remember, where was I? Like, again, narratives. This fits into the narrative of European city. I'm not just going to specifically say white people because, of course, not only white people were injured in this attack, but European city attacked by ISIS, aka Muslims, aka horrible brown people. So we have to kick into overdrive to help them out, protect them, coddle them. When, again, you see a city like Flint, Michigan, which is a poor city of mostly black people, brown people, that through no fault of their own, pretty much, practically their entire city was poisoned, with lead, children with brain damage. And, we all say, oh, this is horrible, this is terrible. But, like, Snyder hasn't gone to jail. Like, I just read something the other day that said that only, like, 2 houses at this point have even had their, like, pipes repaired, like, there was no immediate kick into overdrive to send help to those people, to send aid to those people. There was no massive campaign of solidarity. And I'm just using Flint as an example because that was just the first thing that popped into my head. There was no massive campaign of like solidarity with Flint, outpouring of help for Flint. Let's do this for Flint. Let's do that for Flint. We want to make a $25,000 minimum donation to Flint. I have my Sip Black and Relax shirt on, guys, just Natasha. No one was like, we're going to make a minimum $25,000 donation to Flint so that, they can get clean water. And I'm sure, and not to say that there have not been campaigns and there haven't been people doing work, because I'm not trying to say that and I'm not trying to imply that. But like I said, I woke up this morning and that campaign came to me. Like, it landed in my inbox. And I'm sure I'm going to get a lot more emails throughout the day, updates on what's going on. And I can say that for me personally, I never received anything like that for Flint, Michigan, because the people of Flint, Michigan don't fit the narrative. The people of Flint, Michigan is a city of black people that were terrorized by their white local government. Brussels is a European city that has been victim of Islamic terrorism. That fits a narrative. So you're going to see that shit pushed. The victims of Flint don't fit a narrative, so you're not going to see that shit pushed, you know? You're just going to see how horrible it is. Oh my gosh, it's so horrible. Oh, it's so horrible. Look at these pictures of these poor black children. Oh, it's so horrible. But you're not going to see the narrative of, you know, local government, you know, white local government that didn't give a fuck about these poor fucking brown people, so they poisoned them for money. You know, you're not going to see that. That's not the narrative. That doesn't fit the narrative. That doesn't make the money. That doesn't go on the 24/7, you know, news feed. So you're not going to see that. So that's really all I have to say about Brussels. That's all I think about Brussels. Of course, it's horrible. It sucks that people died and were injured, and global terrorism sucks. Domestic terrorism sucks. You know? And I know people are going to probably be like, oh, Saran, that's oppression Olympics and this and that, and it probably is, but that's how I feel about it. So, you know, it does suck. It is terrible. It does make me sad to hear that, but I don't condone any type of Islamophobia or attacking Muslims or anything like that. And it's just really, really interesting, again, to see how these narratives immediately, you know, kick in, and you know, immediately you see what happens when it's a certain type of city, when it's a certain type of people, when it's a certain type of terrorist, when it's, you know, when it fits into this neat little box in this narrative, the way that the media reacts, the way that the general public reacts, versus when it's outside of that narrative and what happens. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section. I think Friday is the last Friday of the month, so I think I'll be posting, a Black Friday video. Because, yeah, Monday's the 28th. So, yeah. So, stay tuned for that. And see you guys next time. Food for thought as always. Peace.